So previously to this panel, you've all watched The True Cost, an amazing documentary with a really important message about the environmental and social impact of the apparel industry. This film is so eye-opening, and I've gotten amazing feedback from everyone that's watched it. It really shows us why environmental and social responsibility is everyone's job. And it's my hope that we've all become a little bit more conscious about the fast fashion industry through this event. And I'm looking forward to learning even more from our panelists tonight.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Brenna. I am a senior preparing to graduate from the University of Arizona this year. For the last 2 years, I've been a member of the Cooper Campus Outreach team, and it's been a really awesome opportunity. I've loved every second of it. We are a partner to the University of Arizona through the College of Education. So for those of you who don't know us, we're funded from the Green Fund, and we work on sustainability education for the College of Education specifically. Our work is to build bridges between the Cooper Center and the University of Arizona, and we do that through educational components involving sustainability initiatives and collaborative partnerships across campus. Our educational efforts are gaining traction as we strive to increase the sustainability of our campus community. So we do a lot of projects with on-campus partners like the student unions, the dorms, sorority housing. So I'm excited to be able to get this event started. I want to give each of the panelists an opportunity to introduce themselves and share a little bit about why sustainability, specifically sustainability in fashion, is something they've chosen to invest so much of their time and efforts into. After they introduce themselves, we're going to get into some of the questions you all had in response to the True Cost film. And then we'll have some time for any other questions that may arise during the conversation that we all have. So we're going to get it started with Skye Nelson, the CEO of Fed by Threads and one of our invaluable partners. So Skye, if you want to take it away.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for having me for this auspicious and cool event. You know, we're in difficult times, and we're picking up the pieces and doing something really interesting with it. So thank you for this opportunity. Fed by Threads is a eco-corporate apparel company that was started in 2012. I've been in the apparel business since the 1980s. I'm a t-shirt guy by nature. I started out in that business. And as I progressed through my career, I found that sustainability became more and more important to me and how I lived and what I did. Eventually, when I acquired the Fed by Threads brand in 2016, I pivoted the company from where it was making or buying clothes and selling it at retail to an eco-corporate apparel company, which means if you're a large corporation or an organization that needs apparel for your individuals, we try and make those clothes out of the most ethical and sustainable materials available. The world is changing, and you have to be on your toes every day because the supply chain in apparel is at best mercurial, and most of the time you have to plan a long time in advance and at the same time be ready for disappointment. So the sustainable apparel business itself has a great future, but we're still at its infancy as far as I'm concerned. And we're looking forward to seeing what the youth of tomorrow is going to do with the instruction that we're giving today. So thanks for having me.
Up next, we have Dr. Sabrina Holmes. She's the director of the Consumers, Environment, and Sustainability Initiative. Excuse me.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on this panel. Just a little bit back on my background. So I'm an associate professor of retailing and consumer sciences here at the U of A. I've been with U of A for roughly 12 years now, and I teach consumer behavior and also classes on consumer insights, and also a class which is called Sustainable Consumption and Retailing. And so that already explains a little bit of my interest in the topic, because I'm rather passionate about bringing ideas about sustainability in consumption and production and in retailing to our students. In my research, I work on a number of issues related to overconsumption being the main driver of climate change, and how consumer decision-making has a role to play in climate change mitigation and adaptation is another one of my research areas. consumer decision making, what we buy, how we consume and all that, and apparel certainly is one important facet of that, is essential for understanding how we can move ahead in order to create more sensible behavior around climate change, and our general overconsumption. I'm also interested in mental health effects of climate change threat. Prior to the big COVID scare that we are currently living in, climate change was a big scare. It's gotten a little bit in the background, but it's probably going to be a little bit more ongoing than what we experience right now. It's going to be interesting to see how changed consumption patterns that we see right now may have an influence on what's happening later as we are going into more serious climate mitigation and adaptation mode. That has an impact on how we teach, what we teach, the emphasis that we take in teaching, particularly in our field. Deanna and Tara also helped me actually with a research project that I was recently working on, which had to do with how actually the threat of climate change or worries about climate change affect people's decision making around having children. Yeah, so this is a pretty broad topic for me. So it's not just about sustainability, but it's also about climate change.
All right, now we'd like to hear from Kathleen Kennedy, an associate professor of the Retailing and Consumer Sciences School.
Dr. Kennedy, I believe that you're muted still, sorry.
I said all those wonderful things that you didn't get to hear. Good evening, and thank you for including me in tonight's panel. I am also a professor in the Retailing and Consumer Sciences department, and my office happens to be next door to Sabrina's, so this is kind of interesting. My focus is on retailing innovation and strategy, and I'm particularly interested in how technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other forms of innovation and circular processes can improve the choices consumers can make. So the link to sustainability for me is if we can help consumers make better and smarter decisions, make decisions that they like better, for example, buy apparel that you wear more often, keep longer, that lasts longer, we can improve the entire circular processes. I take a systems approach to sustainability, so I'm in a very kind of different space than Dr. Helm. I'm more focused on what's going on in the background and less on the actual consumer side of the equation. So what are our business processes? How do we design products? How can we do a better job designing a product so that it can be recycled, reused, and last longer, be more durable? So focusing on companies like Patagonia, where they've redesigned products to be less harmful to the environment, to last longer and have a lower effect. Prior to academia, I was a retail executive for about 20 years. So my background is from the practice side. So thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we have Lauren McCullough, a sustainable clothing advocate. Lauren.
Hi, I'm so honored to be a part of this panel discussion tonight. Thank you so much for having me. I think the panel is very well, it's very diverse and we have a lot of different voices, and I suppose that my voice would just be on the consumer side and speaking from someone who has really looked at this just from a personal point of view, not a research or high level, have looked into what goes on behind the scenes, but I'm certainly not an expert in that, but I am an expert in trying to find sustainable solutions for everyday consumers and sharing that information through Instagram. I've held a few minimalist and sustainable wardrobe workshops in town here in Tucson locally, some at XO Coffee, some with this group here, and hopefully doing one with Cero Tucson, which is a sustainable local company. They sell items like reusable straws and just various items for your home to make it a more sustainable option. And we're looking at doing a workshop online in the near future. So these types of activities, so I'm coming at it from that point of view. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.